Hello, folks. Welcome to Ignore the Machine. I'm Bradley J, and today we're going to talk about shame. Shame has gotten a bad rap in recent decades. There are only a very few things that lead people to do the right thing. One, fear of punishment, either from the law or from God. Two, shame, an internal sense of what's right and wrong and feeling bad about violating what's right and wrong. And even though shame gets a bad rap, it's a valuable tool. Can a society even really function without shame? I would say there's a relationship between lack of shame and the rise in bad behavior in our society. Look at folks in the government, politicians on the take. If they had a sense of shame, they wouldn't do that. As I mentioned, two things keep folks on the right path: fear of punishment and shame, a violation of an inner code, a sense of violation of an inner code. And I guess they don't feel like they're going to get caught because they don't. It's really hard to get indicted if you're a senator. About 0.5% of senators are indicted. It's hard to get caught. So fear of the law doesn't seem to be a guiding principle. And a fear of God doesn't seem to do it either. And certainly there doesn't seem to be a sense of shame. Now, it is, of course, inappropriate to wrongly shame someone, but to throw shame out the window as a tool is very dangerous to any society and to the world. Have you no shame? At long last, have you no decency? In a world of, well, I don't want to get too political here. Let me just say that I feel like shame as a concept has been attacked rather than the misapplication of shame. And I think folks need to realize that shame is a good thing. It makes people do the right thing. And lack of shame, it will just be it will be what it is now. A world where people act with impunity and are not punished it doesn't seem as though they are punished on this planet by the law, by God, and so they need an inner sense of shame. There you go. So next time you hear someone dissing the concept of shame, point out to them that shame is a very important concept. Do you have a sense of shame? A sense of shame is taught by parents. If a person doesn't have a sense of shame, if everything's okay, then I think that child suffers. If a kid is grown up not to feel bad when they do something wrong, then that person is not going to be good. How's that for plain speaking? Before I go, I want to let you know a new album by Hotel Bar by my band called Bridgebender. Also, there's a new Spotify page with it's Ignore the Machine. That's my solo work. It's different. It's better than you think, and it's also not mainstream. Follow me on Twitter if you're a Twitter person. I hate Twitter, but as long as it's there, I guess it's a tool that I'm forced to use. I can't stand Elon Musk. I don't even like the concept of Twitter. But if you're going to do Twitter, please subscribe to me. And then there's the YouTube travel channel called Bradley J Travel with over 100, probably more like 150 travel videos, both domestic travel videos, including eight, I think, long-haul train trips. They're not 8 videos because some of the train trips are redundant and combined. But if you're a person who likes train trips, they are there. I want to remind you that right now travel sucks and you should not do it. In my opinion, if it's something you do just for you intend to do just for pleasure, because it's not pleasurable. It's rampantly overpriced. It is crowded. People are mean. The airline service attitude is not great. Lodging is expensive. Too many people are desperate to travel now, and you need to wait until it gets more to be fun again. In the meantime, I will still do it because it's part of my identity. I'm really forced to do it to be me, and even when I go, it sucks, but the bad parts kind of fade away, and I go in knowing it's going to suck. I feel like it's my duty, actually, to do it. I can't wait till it gets fun again, and it won't get fun again until fewer of you do it. So let me do the traveling. You watch the videos. Save your money for nice, beautiful meals at your local restaurant. There's also the YouTube show, which this is going live to, the Bradley J. Show. And what else? Oh, yeah. My radio show on ZBC is today at 2 p.m., which is only 45 minutes away. So I need to get ready for that. You can either listen to it on 90.3 or you can catch it, the live stream on WZBC.org. I spend a lot of time on these shows. They are shining gems of shows. There's no junk. There's no filler. I search for music that I listen a bunch of times and eliminate the stuff that doesn't make the cut. What was I thinking on that one? I thought it might be good, but no. These are vetted, solid, no filler, no clunkers in there. I listen to them over and over while walking with a 15-year-old iPod. It's what I do. I don't want to listen to clunkers, so I'm very careful. That show is on. You can also get that show at Mixcloud. I like the Mixcloud version because you can listen anytime. Mixcloud. Go to Mixcloud, search Ignore the Machine. That's the name of the show. All right, I need to prepare for that exact show today. I hope you'll join me because it's fun to know that you're listening. All right? So if you do happen to listen to the show, get back to me and say, I listened to your show. So when I do the next one, I can think about you when I'm making it. This is a very personal thing. It's not for the masses. This is for the very few people who get it, who want to hear new music, who like kind of post-punk rock. What's post-punk rock? Well, Echo and the Bunnymen was post-punk rock. How's that? There's an example. U2 was actually post-punk rock. And shoegaze, do you know what shoegaze is? You hear a lot of folks, oh, look how white my teeth are. I've been whitening them. It's paying off big time. Shoegaze is a band that they don't move, like, actually the Cars were kind of shoegaze in a way, not sound-wise, but they just kind of stare at your shoes. Like, it's the anti-Van Halen. Like, we're not running around. We're just staying in one place, moving our head a little tiny bit and staring at our shoes. Cold Wave, well, let's start with Dark Wave. Dark Wave is, a sister to goth. Dark Wave is goth. Call it that. And then Cold Wave is related to goth, but doesn't rely on the big dark voices. It's kind of an everyman. It's, if you hear something you think, is that goth, but it doesn't have the big dark voices, you might think, oh, that's Cold Wave. And then there's electronic, which is pretty self-explanatory. I suppose you would call Gary Newman electronic. You'd certainly call, who else? Kraftwerk, okay? Electronic. So that explains what goes on. And so the show is a mixture of all five of those genres and subgenres. Not too much on the electronic because the thing has evolved so that it's kind of upbeat. You may notice a pattern. I always start off with a real hit in that genre. Something that even someone who didn't listen to college radio might know. Like a cover of Iggy Pop's 1969 by Sisters of Mercy. people that start the show with a hit, top of the hour, it's not as crucial these days because rating systems are different. But still, I like to come out of the gate with a bang, a Bauhaus, a rockin' Bauhaus song, something like that. Then start low and slow and build each short set. I do short sets and talk very little. Just the info, moving on. Just the info, moving on. I only do 1 hour because that way I can make sure that it is pristine, a highly polished gem, as I mentioned earlier. So that's it. If you want to hear it, 2 o'clock. Even if you don't want to hear it and you're not doing anything, do that. If you're in the car, certainly, actually, if you're near WZBC, 90.3. I don't know exactly how far the signal goes, but I think the most people listen on the live stream. It's WZBC.org. Super easy. Just hit WZBC.org, then listen, and it comes up automatically. Okay? Again, shame is a valuable tool. The misapplication of shame, shaming people for the wrong things, is bad. Also, what you could debate this: should shame merely be an internal thing that either you have or you don't? It should be taught, it should be valued, but it's an internal thing only. Or is it a thing that people should do to other people? Like, say you did something scummy, like you cheated some people. You cheated. Is it incumbent upon us to point that out, to shame someone, as in the verb? You could debate, well, shame the noun's okay, but shame the verb is not okay. Well, if someone deserves shame, then they should know about it. But shaming someone who has no internal sense of shame is no good. You could tell Donald Trump, it's wrong to try to overthrow the government and spit on the efforts of millions of soldiers who have died and lost limbs for the Constitution. It is wrong of you and shameful of you to spit on that Constitution and try to overthrow and suspend that Constitution. But the president has no shame. So he has no internal sense of shame. His father didn't teach it to him. His mother didn't teach it to him. And no schools taught it to him. He didn't learn shame at Wharton. He didn't learn a sense of it's good to be good and it's bad to be bad. He didn't learn that. So no amount of the verb of shaming will resonate with him. So you might say that it is pointless to shame, as in the verb shame. That's it. And so I got to get ready for the show. And I got to work on my new song for my Spotify channel, Ignore the Machine. If you haven't checked it out, there are about 5 songs there. One's a cover of Bowie's Heroes. Another one is the first song I ever did that I redid, called Drive. Now, I love talking to you so much that it's tough for me to stop. Share this, will you? I mean, it's the one thing you can do to help me out. I mean, that's why I'd love to get this out to as many of the folks that I used to talk to on terrestrial radio as I can, like on BZ. Get this out to anybody you know that knew me from BZ, because they say, Bradley J., come back. Well, I don't want to come back to the overnight because it was unhealthy. It was killing me, man. It was killing my soul. It was killing my body. Much happier now, but I still want to have a voice with those folks and connect with them. So please share it with anyone you know that knew me from WBZ. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Any comments? No. That's fine. A lot of people don't comment. Just like on radio, most people didn't call when you're on BZ. Only maybe one half of 1% would call, or even fewer than that. Interesting. Fewer people. Yeah, even fewer people than that. But if you're dealing in a percent, is that fewer or less? Bye-bye.